Oh boy, we got some major news here for you guys. North Korea prepares for war, potentially with the United States because of what just happened. I'll give you the details of it in this video. If you've been watching my previous videos, we've seen the lead up to this. Also, in this video, U.S. officials reveal dramatic punishment for Russia, and what goes along with this, the U.S. production of crude oil, aka gasoline, production of this hits an all-time record high. I'll give you the details of that in this video. And this is not going to make Putin very happy. Yeah, let's jump right in. Thank you so much for smashing the like button for us. It really helps out our channel. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any new videos. Why not? It's completely free to do so. Here we go. Okay, North Korea warns any interference with their spy satellite that they finally got up would be a declaration of war. And as you can see here, North Korea is readying their military and claims it saw U.S. military bases from their spy satellites. And they're blaming the U.S. for hindering peace and stability in the Korean Peninsula. And remember here that they just had a large confrontation with the United States at the United Nations meeting, in which they said they would never meet face to face with the United States ever again, and basically called the United States two-faced. And now, North Korean President Kim Jong-un is calling on the military to prepare for any provocation and announced a deployment of more soldiers and other weapons to its border with South Korea. After North Korea launched its first spy satellite, they were given repeated warnings that such a launch would violate United Nations Security Council resolutions. Officials in South Korea cautioned Pyongyang that it would suspend the Panmunjom Declaration, the peace agreement signed in 2018, before the launch of the UK government announced a defense agreement with South Korea that would enforce sanctions on North Korea. Just hours after they launched their satellite, South Korean president suspended parts of the 2018 agreement that enforced a no-fly zone along their border. Their prime minister told reporters that the move was necessary for the security of their country. The next day, North Korea retaliated by abandoning the agreement with the defense ministry, stating that all military measures would be restored immediately. Now, on Monday, South Korea's military said they're detecting soldiers along the border where North Korea previously held guard posts before the 2018 accord. Now, we also have North Korea with thinly veiled threats against the United States as well, saying that they've been taking pictures of high-value targets in the United States, like the White House, the Pentagon, and military targets, and troop movements as well. And we basically know what this means. So you guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. And don't forget, those two wars, basically the Russia-Ukraine war and the Israel-Hamas-Gaza war, which Iran is a big part of, Russia is a big part of, they're all kind of interlinked there. Now, we have U.S. officials revealing new dramatic punishments for Russia. The United States seeks to cut Russia's oil and gas revenue, which is their largest source of money and largest source of revenue for their oil, for their war machine, by 50% by 2030 as a punishment for its invasion of Ukraine. A top government official said in an interview published Thursday night. U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Energy Resources Jeffrey Pyatt told the Financial Times that Washington hopes sanctions on oil and gas revenue will hinder Russian President Vladimir Putin from any future military aggression on other countries. The US was among multiple countries that imposed severe economic sanctions on Russia, which remember that most of Europe is not buying oil and gas from Russia as well now, following Putin's invasion of Ukraine and the war that's still going on. Those moves include placing a price cap on Russian oil exports. And we just had US imposing fresh sanctions on a shipment of Russian oil above the price cap here just yesterday. The group of 7 rich countries, the European Union and Australia, imposed the $60 per barrel cap last December on Russian crude. The Treasury Department says enforcement of the price cap on Russian oil is a top priority for the United States and our coalition partners that go to other countries. By targeting these companies and their ships, we are upholding the dual goals of the price cap by restricting Russia's profits from oil while promoting stable goals for the energy markets. Meanwhile, the U.S. production of crude oil hits an all-time record high. President Biden just broke Donald Trump's previous record of daily domestic crude oil, which is now higher than it was pre-COVID, which had a dramatic drop. As you can see here from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, directly here from the government, which shows the weekly field production of crude oil, which shows how much we produce of thousands of barrels per day, which is 13.2 million barrels per day. And yes, we have just now beaten the pre-COVID record. You can see when COVID hit, before COVID hit, we were 13.1 million barrels per day. And then it dropped dramatically when COVID hit because of demand. The country shut down. And we went all the way down to 10 million barrels per day. I think it was actually down to like 9 point something here at one point because of demand. And that's when gas prices went down to $1.99 or something crazy like that because nobody was driving, and gas just, plummeted, right? So we actually have U.S. oil production at the highest level ever. And you can see the headline here. Gas prices dropped for more than 60 days in a row. You can actually see here from AAA, national average gas prices here dropping for more than 60 days in a row. And a month ago, gas on average was $3.44 here in the U.S., now down to $3.24. We have a lot of states down in the $2 range. The reason we'll never see gas in the $1.99 range ever again, probably, is because of the greed of oil and gas companies. Remember, they want to make the most money ever, and also demand. The reason we'll never see, those COVID era prices when the country shut down is because the country would have to shut down for that. We'd have to see the demand plummet as well to see those prices here again. Let me know in the comments section what gas prices are in the city and state where you are. I do know gas is in the $2-ish range in a lot of states. Of course, if you're in California, you have a different blend of gas there and much higher taxes there because they have cleaner fuel there. So obviously it costs a lot more. But we're just never going to see dollar something gas because remember, inflation, taxes, and greedy oil companies. Greedy oil companies want to charge as much as they can. This is just the reality of the world. But if the country ever shuts down again, if you've been watching my new pandemic videos, they're actually having some of this happen in China. God forbid, we hope this never happens again. But crazy, scary times. So you guys can let me know your thoughts here. We, pray to God that nothing like that happens again. We don't want to go through another major pandemic here. You got to remember, supply and demand dictates the price of oil. And the other thing to keep in mind here is we're making 13.2 million barrels per day, but the OPEC and OPEC Plus, which includes Russia, Saudi Arabia, and all those Middle Eastern countries, have they have cut production by 3 million barrels per day. So that's 30% of our production. They have done that to keep oil prices, gas prices high worldwide to inflate the prices. So that's, we're making 13.2 million barrels per day, which is the highest ever just by a slight margin. But that 3 million barrels per day that they cut, that's 30% of our production. If they were making those extra 3 million barrels per day that they could be making, that would be another 30% alone. So we are the largest producer of oil, but they are the second and the third combined. So that could be, even more so. I'll keep you up to date. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for liking and sharing these videos. And if you haven't yet, subscribe down below. Click here to see my newest video on the mystery pneumonia that is now spreading in the US. Or click here to see my newest video of attacks that could happen from Russia or North Korea. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.